What's up guys, Lou from YGOTCG Bournemouth here, bringing you another deck profile. This is my Aromage deck profile. Recently I was very lucky on eBay, found a guy selling pretty much the entire core for just over £60. And I thought, well yeah, screw it. I was interested in Aromages originally. Obviously Jasmine was a crazy price on pre-release, so I stepped away from it and ignored it and managed to get it up relatively cheaply. So yeah, into the build, man. I'm going to run through the effects because obviously these are a new art type from Clash of Rebellions, so it's always good to know what they do and why you would run them, and here we go. Aromage Bergamot. While your life points are higher than your opponent, if a plant type monster you control attacks a defense position monster, inflicts piercing battle damage to your opponent. So, Air Knight Passer, it is literally a piercer, really cool little effect once you've got higher life points than your opponent, which happens a lot in this deck. Once per turn, if you gain life points, this card gains 1,000 attack and defense until the end of your opponent's turn. If you're not gaining life points most turns in this deck, you're not going to win the duel. Your field spell is geared around gaining life points. Some of your traps are geared about gaining life points. There's magic cards in here to gain life points. It's very easy to make this a one card out to towers. Definitely worth running one copy. I'm loving it against Cleese. It is just funny because you can actually kill towers, which is fun. But yeah, good card. Never more than one because it would clog and it sucks to be a tribute. There are ways to get it out, but it's hassle. 3 copies of Aromage Jasmine. The key card of the deck, the draw engine of the deck, the thing that makes it really good. Jasmine's effect is, during your main phase, while your life points are higher than your opponent's, you can normal summon one plant monster in addition to your normal summon set, except Aromage Jasmine. So you've got higher life points, you can summon pretty much anything. It's a plant deck, so you should have plants everywhere. You get that additional normal summon, so you can actually go, if you've already got one of these on board, normal summon another one, and additional normal summon into a Rosemary or a Kananga, and then boost your life points for the draws. Secondary effect is when you gain life points, either player's turn, once per turn, you can draw a card. This is a stackable effect, so if you've got 3 on the board, you gain life points, you get 3 draws. Really, really cool little draw engine. Love the card. Nice artwork. Then we have 3 copies of Aromage Kananga. While your life points are higher than your opponent's, face-up monsters your opponent control lose 500 attack and defense. Once per turn, if you gain life points, target a spell or trap card your opponent controls and return it to the hand. This is a very, very good card, particularly in your opponent's end phase if they've set a load of back row and you've got a couple of these on the field. You activate either Dried Winds or Poison of the Old Man, which are both life point gaining cards in your opponent's turn, and you can actually return their back row in their turn, meaning that you've got no threat and you can just go for game. And obviously the lowering of attack and defense is really helpful. 3 copies of Aromage Rosemary. While your life points are higher than your opponent's, if a plant monster you control attacks, your opponent cannot activate monster effects until the end of the damage step. Once per turn, if you gain life points, target one face-up monster on the field and change its battle position. It's actually very helpful if you've gone first and you've got a way to get this out and a Jasmine out. You've summoned the Jasmine, and you've got a way to boost your life points twice as well. Summoned the Jasmine, you've boosted your life points, you've then summoned the Rosemary and you boost again. You use Rosemary to put Jasmine into defense position, so you've got a 1900 defender instead of a 600 attacker face up on the field. Also, changing that battle position can be quite helpful, particularly if you boost your life points just as they go into their battle phase and you turn their monster into defense position. Just sort of an econ in a monster, but obviously you don't go in control. 3 copies of Lone Fire Blossom, tribute Lone Fire Blossom, special summon plant from the deck, standard plant monster. You see it in pretty much every plant deck that special summons. Not sure if I'll continue to use it because I'm not liking special summoning in this deck too much. I quite like the fact that I run loser turns and a few other things that are very against special summoning. But at the moment it's a key card for plant. 3 copies of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. I don't like Cleefort, and this really does with Cleefort. No, it's Scout. Okay, pay 800. Goodbye. But yeah, it's also a level 3 tuner, which allows me to go into synchro plays. Say I haven't got much back row, or I've got a rather large hand and I want to be excessive. Gives me more plays. Just nice to have the option. So yeah, that's it for the monsters. Now into the traps, I run 3 copies of Humid Winds. Humid Winds is your rota for Aromages. You can pay 1,000 life points and add an aroma monster from your deck to your hand. Also, if your life points are lower than your opponent's, you can gain 500 life points, but you can only use each of the effects of Humid Winds once per turn. So you could literally flip this, draw into a Jasmine, so you've lowered your life points to 7,000, your opponent's still on 8,000. You've already got something on the field that gains an effect when you gain life points, and you activate secondary effect to gain life points and use the effect. Really cool if you've got a Jasmine already. 2 copied of Dried Winds. If you gain life points, target a face-up monster your opponent controls, destroy it. Stupid. If you control an aroma monster and your life points are at least 3,000 points higher than your opponent, you can pay life points equal to the difference. Destroy a face-up monster your opponent controls, whose combined attack is less than or equal to the life points paid to activate this effect. You can only use each effect of Dried Winds once per turn. I gain life points. I pop your face-up monster that was a threat. Occasionally you go for the secondary effect, but that first effect is enough normally, and that combined with Humid Winds after you've searched is just funny. 3 copies of Fiendish Chain. It's a continuous trap card, and I do run things to draw off of that, and obviously Fiendish Chain stops monsters attacking, stops silly monster effects. Double Storming Mirror Force. I love this card at the moment. I actually think it's more effective than Mirror Force in current games I'm playing, because returning everything to the hand actually can be a lot more painful, particularly against things like Shaddoll. Shaddoll in particular really hate it when everything goes back to the hand because they don't get those plus effects from going to the graveyard. But yeah, just a really good little card. I like it at the moment. I think it's going to stick at high value for a while. 2 loser turns. Considering a third just to get into it faster, but obviously if you haven't used this card, activate this card only if you control no special summon monsters. During the turn a monster is special summoned, negate its effect. If an effect monster is special summoned in attack position, change it to defense position. This is a really friggin' good card. It's so anti-meta, it's beautiful, which is why I'm considering cutting the Lone Fires and putting probably Cactus Bouncers or something else in just to stop special summoning even more. This really hurts special summon centric decks. Completely destroys a lot of decks. The one vanity is Emptiness, because again, don't like special summons. And that's it for the traps. Now for the spells, I run 3 Aroma Garden. Aroma Garden is once per turn. If you control an aroma monster, you can gain 500 life points. Also, all monsters you control, not just aromas, all monsters you control, gain 500 attack and defense until the end of your opponent's next turn, even if this card leaves the field. This is a stackable card as well. It's like Gates of Darkworld. You can use it multiple times. So if you've got multiple copies, you can go Aroma Garden, gain 500 attack and defense. Aroma Garden, gain 500 attack and defense. I've just gained a K on my Jasmine. My Jasmine is now actually combative. But yeah, really cool little cards. And if an aroma is destroyed, if an aroma monster you control is destroyed by battle or by card effect and sent to the graveyard, you gain 1,000 life points. Really cool little field spell, definitely a key part of the engine. 2 copies of Terraforming to get into the Aroma Garden. 2 Duality to get into the parts. I would probably bump this to 3 if I cut Lone Fire, because special summoning won't be as much of an issue. Magic Planter. I've only got 1 in here at the moment because I only have 1 at the moment. As soon as I get another copy, it's going straight in here because the amount of continuous trap cards, it'd be silly not to. 3 copies of Poison of the Old Man. Really cool card, quick play, so it can be activated mine or my opponent's turn, so I can boost my life points when I need to, and I can trigger effects on my monsters when I need to. Plus that inflict 800 damage to your opponent actually won me a Clyfort game. Because they had paid that many life points. They had a Towers on the field and I was about to die and I burnt him for 800 for game. So never forget that it burns as well. And at the moment 1 copy of Soul Charge, but as I said, going to be stepping away from the special summon build and switching to a more anti-meta stance. Very quickly, please excuse the ridiculous prize cards in here, but it was necessary at the time. I was just trying to find synchros that I could use. So for 5 Archimedes, easy to get out, won me a game against Amazons because he couldn't chain any effects to destruction. Splendid Rose, Black Rose Dragon, think Stardust Dragon, not Blood Mephis because that's just silly. Gigant Castle, really cool little card actually, very good defense, and with the boost off the field spell, it just gets funny. You can have ridiculous attack and defense on that card. 1 Leo, Ascension, again, just don't, you only need a Leo. Star Eater, Gachi, Fortune Tune, Melee, which you do go into quite a lot, Gem Knight, Pearl for the lose a turn plays, really good so you can go into it and stay in attack mode as 2/6 Peter. Giant Hand, 101, and Heartland Draco because you normally have a field spell on the field. This could be an Exciton Knight quite happily. And a Castel could fit in there quite easily. But I hope you like the profile. Any comments, please let me know. Like and subscribe, guys, and for now, leave my GOTCG Bournemouth out.